Hey people, what's up, Lakerland? Duncan here. Let's talk potential off season and let's build ourselves a team. So first and foremost, first thing I want to do is I want to concentrate on the obvious. We already heard that Paul George has took his kids out of school. We already heard that he's already moved his kids out of school and down to LA. So with that being said, we know Paul George at least is considering the ability of the Lakers having a ton of money and a desire to build a solid team. So then Paul George comes in. Suddenly, I do believe there's a lot of merit in trading Brandon Ingram and a first round or two pick to the Spurs for Kawhi Leonard. Essentially what that does is that gives you Paul George and Kawhi right up your 2 and 3 spot. Then of course you already got Lonzo in there, you already got Hart there, and essentially as soon as you get Kawhi, remember his contract isn't that expensive for one more year. We can actually keep him and re-sign him next year with bird rights. Now with that being said, I can also see us bringing in a DeMarcus Cousins on a 2-year deal on a prove-it type money, along with Nerlens Noel with a similar deal. Noel would be this year's starter, and essentially you would have a starting lineup of Lonzo Ball, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I'd re-sign Julius Randle, and then there'd be Noel this year. What does that do? Well, you're not scoring on that lineup. Okay, Lonzo Ball is definitely a decent defender, along with playmakers. So right off the bat, you've got at least a defensive stopper right there. Then you know that Paul George is one of the best defenders in the game. So right there, you got another defensive stopper. Then you got Kawhi Leonard, who Kwami's one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in all of the NBA. So suddenly you got your top 3 guys as 3 really, really tough defenders. A lot of teams are going to have a problem scoring on that. Then you add in Julius Randle, who's a defensive rebounder, who can at least redirect shots. Now suddenly you got the makings of a good defensive unit. Add in Nerlens Noel, who's essentially going to be the starter this year, who would be, your rebounding defensive specialist. Now, you could always bring Cousins in, give him a year to recoup, see how he comes back, see if he can recover from the injury or not, but make it a non-guaranteed contract, so if he doesn't, we cut him. So what that would do is that would essentially keep us with the financial space to make a move next year for another key player, but it would also keep us a championship caliber team this year. Now, I don't see us bringing back Brook Lopez. I don't see it. I think you can get 15 points out of just about any center in the post. If you can get Lonzo more aggressive and scoring more points, we can cover for Lopez. If you get a solid backup point guard, a veteran with championship or playoff experience, someone like Rondo, you got a guy that can come off the bench that can give you 10 to 15 points, along with 10 or 12 assists, along with defense. You got Hart that's going to give you 15 points a game and be another stout defender. Suddenly you have the makings of a pretty solid defensive unit. And if there's money left over, you bring in maybe a Ariza, or you call up Travis Ware. Now you have the makings for a very good team. Specifically a very solid defensive team. A defensive team that will thrive on transition. So think about that. Think about scoring on Lonzo/Rondo at point guard. Think about scoring on Paul George / Josh Hart at shooting guard. Think about scoring on Kawhi Leonard and Trevor Ariza at small forward. And even in a smaller value, Randall, Kazuma, Noel, and whoever else is there. Just imagine that for a minute. Imagine that kind of defense. And imagine with Lonzo Ball passing, along with Paul George's finishing ability, Kwani's finishing ability, shooting ability, Randall's passing ability around the paint. You're talking for a very, very solid team. Noel, who's dynamic at pounding the glass and second chance points. Now you have the makings of a deep playoff running team. A team that can make a run, a serious run. So, when I think about the Lakers this year, I can definitely see Paul George there. I can definitely see them trading for Kwani. I can definitely see picking up an option on like a Nerlens Noel. Or bringing in a DeMarcus Cousins on a cheap contract, knowing he's going to sit the majority of the year. I can see these moves and more. Needless to say, I think the Lakers are going to be one of the most defensive, dynamic teams in all of sports. Or at least the NBA. So, watch out. Put everybody on notice. The Lakers are for real this year. And they're coming not only for the playoffs, but they're coming to make a deep run. So be prepared. And that's my message. So go Lakers. And, with that being said, peace. Lakers out.